I used to pause when I felt it, that quiet pull in my chest. Look around for confirmation like somebody else knew best. But something kept coming back to me, soft but steady every time. Like a knock I couldn't silence, like a truth that felt like mine. I got tired of second guessing, tired of stepping aside. So I chose the voice within me over all the noise outside. No more waiting, no more doubt. I hear it clear right now. I trust myself now, that's all I need. I hear that voice, it leads me. I trust myself now. I don't look back, I move first, and life reacts. I don't rush and I don't chase, I don't beg and I don't prove. When I stand inside my knowing, everything starts to move. Doors feel lighter when I reach them, steps feel easy when I go. It's not magic, it's alignment, it's just trusting what I know. I don't hide and I don't doubt, I don't silence what is true, and I honor what's inside me. The path opens up in view, no more almost, no more half. I stand firm in what I have. I trust myself now, that's all I need. I hear that voice, it leads me. I trust myself now. I don't look back, I move first, and life reacts. Chinitha, she listens, she moves, she trusts herself. I trust myself. Chinitha, she listens, she moves, she trusts herself. I trust myself now, that's all I need. I hear that voice, I trust myself now. I don't look back, I move first, and life reacts. I trust myself now, I move different. I trust myself now, I move different, I move different. I trust myself now, I move different. I trust myself, I move different, I move different, I move different. I trust myself now, I trust myself now.
All righty. Look at this Zoom room. Wow. Hello, 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 everyone. Can you hear me? Is my audio good? Awesome, awesome. So,
Absolutely.
yes. So, welcome, everyone. Glad that you're here to make sure everything is streaming correctly. Yes. So, as we're getting started, I see you already started in the comments. Where are you watching us from right now? Where are you at? And while you all are putting that in the chat, I have a question for you. If someone asks you to teach on something for 30 minutes and you was not prepared for it, what would you speak for? What would it be about? And as those answers are coming in the chat, Teresa, if you want to read them, you can. Yeah. If someone gave you a microphone and you could not prepare in time, what would you speak about for 30 minutes? What would that be?
Yeah,
Right?
I'm waiting to see. I'm waiting to see.
Yes, don't be
What would
scared.
y'all be speaking on?
For me, I know it would be self-trust, like hands down, like guaranteed self-trust.
Well, I see there, whose voice are you listening to? That's a good one. That is fabulous. Whose voice are you listening to? All right,
Ooh.
Jayna. All right.
Yes.
Who else has something? I'm curious. We got
Nothing yet?
silence, girl. We got silence.
Okay. Well, well, if you're thinking about it as we go, we got some more in the comments.
The
Teresa.
lies we tell ourselves. Okay, Faye. I see you, Faye. And then walking in faith. How many of y'all know
Ooh,
how important it is to walk in faith? Walk
come
in
on.
faith. All right. And those lies we tell ourselves, girl.
Mm. So good. So good. Thank y'all for sharing. So, hi, everyone. Welcome again. Whether you're joining in from YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, maybe even TikTok, right? Or even inside the Zoom room. Thank you for being here with us on this Sunday. You could be anywhere. I know y'all busy, but you're here with us on this Sunday. So, what you're about to witness has not happened here before in the self trust room. Today, we have 5 dynamic people to step onto the stage and they've agreed to share something. They will speak for 10 minutes and they will have no script. There will be no notes. There will be no slides, just the self-trust in themselves and what they already know. And they all collectively made one decision to trust in themselves. And that's important. And you get to witness it live. Okay. So, welcome to the very first episode of Trust Out Loud. The very first episode. Give a round of applause for yourself for being
All
here.
right.
Y'all being the
Yes,
first
y'all.
ones to step. Let's go.
Yep.
Come on. And we encourage you to, if you're off camera, you can be on camera. We're not going to bite you, right? If you can be on camera, be on camera. My daughter, Messiah, is helping, so she can't be on camera. But anybody else, if you can be on camera, please do. Okay? So with that, I want to introduce myself in case you've never seen me before, heard me before, seen my content, right? My name is Chinitha Johnson, and this is a self-trust room. And this room exists for one reason and one reason only, okay? To help you build trust in yourself, because self-trust is not what people think it is. It's not having a confidence all the time, because life is always life, okay? It is not about being certain in everything and every time, because when I tell you, if you see me in my content, sometimes you have things planned out and laid out to a T, but God says, nope, not today. And things change, right? And it's not about having all the right answers. To me, self trust is action, it is built through action, right? It is what you do when you feel completely out of control, right? You feel completely out of touch with what's happening. Maybe you made the plans, like, say, for example, you was gonna write the book, and all of a sudden, the husband acting crazy, the kids acting crazy, the printer ain't working, right? But you still push through, and that books get done, right? It's what happened when you give yourself permission, not waiting to see if society says it's okay, not waiting to see if it's okay from your siblings, but when you give yourself that permission, right? And it's what happens when you decide the next step is better than the fear that you encompass. Sometimes we are so afraid and it looks scary about the next step, and you know what to do. But a lot of time you don't move, and self-trust doesn't happen through not action. It moves when you move. So every week inside the self-trust room, we talk about what y'all think. Self-trust, right? Is that it, right? So today, what's different is that you're going to watch it. So I got to get some context because a lot of people watch the self-trust room on YouTube, and it's not usually this in this setting. So a few weeks ago, I posted a simple question on Facebook, and I asked, if someone handed you a microphone and asked you to teach for 30 minutes with absolutely no preparation, what would you teach? Right? And people started to answer. Some said healing, relationships, trauma, forgiveness, belief in yourself. And as I read every answer, my man, because I can see so many opportunities, or I can see my man always working. And I'm like, instead of me asking them, giving them feedback, oh, this is so good, I begin to DM people, right? I begin to DM and say, well, would you actually do it? Would you do it live with no scripts and no slides and no notes? And some people immediately say yes. And some people ain't respond, y'all. But it's okay, right? It is okay, right? Those who say yes are here today. So shout out to all 5 of you here. I'm going to introduce y'all in a minute, but shout out to all y'all being here saying yes today. And for those who said yes, today is that day where Trust Out Loud was born, okay? So I need to also give context about why this exists. Teresa, can I make you co-host real quick so people who's entering the room?
Oh,
Submit them
absolutely.
that way I don't get distracted.
Yes, you
Okay.
may.
Okay. Okay. There you go. It should have popped up now.
Okay,
Okay.
got it.
So this series in the Trust Out Loud, I don't even call it an event. It's an experience. It is not about finding people with the most perfect and polished stories to tell. It's not about a pretty presentation. It's not about performing for a live audience across 3 or 4 platforms and those in the room. It's about watching ordinary people make extraordinary decisions. Do y'all hear me? The decision to trust themselves before they know exactly what happens in the next 10 minutes, right? Before they know what unfolds after this. And that's what we're here to witness. So before we go any further, right, we are all here together. I want to ask something of you, okay? Don't spend this entire hour and some change, possibly, just watching our guest, right? But watch yourself as you watch them and notice your thoughts. Maybe you're thinking, I could never do that. There's no way somebody can tell me to speak in 10 minutes and I can't be prepared, right? I can't actually have slides.
Mm.
Maybe you're thinking, oh my God, I'm terrified. I can't share that. Even though I got that conviction, I can't share that out loud. Or maybe you'll be surprised by yourself. And whatever shows up, whatever that is today, pay attention to it. Because today's conversations is only about our dynamic speakers, not just about them. It's about what's happening inside of all of us as we watch, right? As we consume, as we listen. So I need to set the room because this is the first episode. I want to set the standard, right? This is a room built on courage and self-trust. And we welcome different stories, different experiences, different backgrounds, and different perspectives, right? With that being said, we don't allow hate speech, harassment, profanity, degrading language, bullying, personal attacks, or anything opposite of this space. Anything that's opposite of what we're trying to do here, right? That make it an unsafe space for people willing to be vulnerable, right? And whether you're one of today's speakers or you're in a chat participating, we ask that you treat everyone with dignity and respect. And that includes yourself, right? And if these standards aren't followed, you will be removed from the conversation just because this is a sacred space. So today is about self-trust and let's protect that, okay? Now, how today works, you're about to experience 5 guest speakers, 5 different stories, different voices, and each guest gets 10 minutes, right? There's no slides, no notes. I'm gonna keep saying that. I wanna make sure y'all understand that, okay? No slides and no notes. And you'll be able to see a visible timer on the screen. And the timer is there to help us honor everyone's time equally. When the timer reaches 0, the speaker's microphone will be automatically muted so we can stay on schedule and give everyone the same opportunity. Okay. And to each of our amazing speakers, trust yourself. Okay. You are here for a reason. Everything happens for a reason. You was not picked to be here by random. Trust your messaging and know that 10 minutes is enough. And whatever you meant to deploy to somebody, for somebody to receive, they will receive it, right? They will, okay? And thank y'all for being here. Now, after each guest finishes, I'll ask them one reflective question about what they just experienced and then connect it back to self-trust. My hope and prayer is not any of us don't leave here just inspired, right? You can be inspired to clean the kitchen today, but that's not enough because you want to do it every day. In my line, right? My hope is that we all leave here with a little bit more self-trust in ourselves and how we treat ourselves. That is the goal. That's the goal. Okay. Now, with that being said, she already on camera. Y'all heard her already welcoming y'all. I want to bring up somebody really dear to me. Okay. She is my co-founder in a different well, I ain't gonna say opportunity, but a different space, right? But she has the energy. And if you stick around, if you've seen her before, like y'all see watch It's So Contagious. And her birthday was it Saturday? So actually Saturday. Can we get a happy birthday for Teresa? Friday. Can we get a happy birthday for Teresa in the chat or in the happy birthday? Y'all can unmute and say happy birthday to her. She just turned 60 and she's a phenomenal phenomenal entrepreneur, mom, woman, leader, y'all. So I am honored to be in community with her. So happy birthday to you, Teresa. Help me welcome
Happy
her.
birthday.
Yes. Help me welcome her. With that really quickly, Teresa. Now, when I first told you about this idea I had,
Yeah.
I'm always thinking about something. What was your first reaction?
Girl, I mean, I think it is fantastic. I think it's fabulous. I think we need these rooms. I think they're so important. I think we need to develop the trust, particularly around women entrepreneurs, women who've gone through some stuff, women who are wearing an S on their chest every single day, day in and day out. The women who take care of their aging parents, the women who raise the babies sometimes that they didn't even give birth to. This is a space, a sacred space for you to begin to speak your voice, your truth, and maybe impact someone else's life in a phenomenal way. And there is no script here for me. So when I'm speaking to you, this is coming from here to here. I'm opening up my heart and I'm just telling you that this is something that we are long overdue to do. We all need this. There's not
Yeah.
a woman on earth right now, especially one of color, who has not suffered in some way, shape, or form where they're giving of themselves and almost to depletion. So, right
Mm.
now, this is a space where we can come together and just work it out. But Trust Out Loud, it's a brand new live series, y'all. It's in the self-trust room. It's real people from real communities stepping in front of a live audience, streaming,
Yes.
and it's here. It's here. And we have this media opportunity to be able to communicate from different areas. Like we might be anywhere around the world, just bringing this information. It is completely unscripted, and you may not be 100% prepared for it all. So, with no script and with each guest having just 10 minutes to convey the message that they want to bring from their heart, it is a wonderful opportunity for people to give from their experiences, from their life tests, and become a testimonial to others who may need this information. So,
Mm.
yeah, that's
So good. So good,
yeah.
Teresa. One more question for you, because I know you got to go in a little bit. What excites you the most about what we're about to witness today? What excites you about it? The most, I guess.
I'm just really excited to get to know, don't we all, over time, we lose people, right? So we always have to be bringing new people into our world. And and when you bring people into a space like this, it's a quick get to know. It's a quick finding new friends. It's a
Mm.
quick lesson. This is what's exciting to me. It's getting to know and getting to hear the stories that impacted the women that are going to speak today, and to watch other women witness it and give them that virtual hug. This is all very exciting. Chinitha, I think you are the perfect person. I don't think anybody else could bring this kind of energy together in this way. It's
Aw.
just a beautiful, beautiful opportunity for people to speak their minds and their hearts.
Love, love, love. Do you have anything in the chat? Because I can't see the chat. I got a million screens up right now. Anything in the chat?
Yeah, it's just people. I see a bunch of happy birthdays, and all I can say is thank you. Thank you. 60 has been fabulous to me. That's what I could say. I loved it. We had
Yes.
a nice surprise party, but
Oh, yes, yes. So, if you haven't answered yet, here's today's question again. If someone handed you a microphone with no preparation, what would you teach about? Think about your life experiences, your life, what you've learned, lessons, right? The blessings, what you've learned, and what would you teach about? And keep them in the back of your mind as we move toward our first guest. Are y'all ready? Are y'all ready in the chat? One hands up. Y'all ready or what?
yes.
Let's go. Let's go. And we got people let's see. Okay. So, okay, awesome. So, all right, it is time, you guys. It is time. I'm excited. Our first guest answered that original Facebook post as along with the other 4 guests, right? And they all did something even more important. They said yes, and she said yes. Please help me welcome Jessica Candanoza. She will be speaking on the importance of believing in yourself and betting on yourself. Jessica, thank you for trusting out loud today. And remember, it is not about perfection, it's about self-trust. Okay? So with that, Jessica, the room is yours. Can you see the timer? Let me put the timer up real quick. Hold on. Can you see the timer on the
Yes,
screen?
ma'am.
All right, let me restart it and then, okay. All right, you ready?
Yes.
All right, let's go.
So I'm gonna take y'all down a memory lane for me. It was about 3 years ago. I was working for corporate recruitment, hiring drivers, warehouse workers, all that fun stuff. But I had a daily dread that I felt in the bottom of my stomach every time I cracked open that laptop. Now, at the time, I was doing recruitment for food industry, so the Cisco Foods of the world, the U.S. Foods, all that supply chain world. What I knew was that I love people. I love connecting them to opportunities. I love community. I have a great, great passion for food and love for food since I was young. And one day I woke up and I said a prayer out loud at my desk to my laptop, and I put it out there in the universe, and I was like, Lord, guide my steps. This is not for me. I know it's not for me. It leaves me feeling empty. Fast forward almost 30 days to the date. Right before Mother's Day, I was let go from my job. And in the background of all this, the prayer and the thoughts and the feelings, I knew that I wanted to bring my passion of food and community together. I did not have a way. I was not traditionally trained in business and the food industry. It was just off the strength of passion and love and listening to my body. Fast forward, I get let go from the job, and I took that moment to like sit with it. You prayed for it, you asked for it. Are you going to walk in faith and walk down this dark unknown path, or are you gonna like hit Indeed again and look for a job? So I decided, let's mess some things up. Let's get crazy. Let's get wild. And I started a business, Just Dip It Tacos, the catering company. We're now 3 years deep. We just celebrated 3 years. We're a woman-owned Chicago-based catering company. When I tell you that God is my business partner, there's no other way that I can, you know, emphasize that. But I say all that to say you have to listen to your body. You have to block out that noise that sometimes family and loved ones, they may not do it intentionally. Sometimes we train them and allow the behaviors. But I say all that to say you have to block out the noise and really sit with what do you want? What brings you happiness? What scares you? All those things matter. I also say what you don't like, knowing what you don't like is just as important as finding out what you like. You don't want to waste time. You don't want to spin wheels. You don't want to, distractions are going to come all the time from all types of places, especially when you think you got a plan nailed down. And then just to throw a little razzle dazzle in there, I'm a believer that the Lord has a sense of humor. Oh, you have a plan? Bet. We'll see. So I say all that to say, please, please sit with yourself. If you're feeling that maybe unfulfillment, I don't even know if I said that right, but if you're feeling that like emptiness, you're not fulfilled, the job, the this, the situation, I'm a big believer in working backwards. What is the problem? What are the resolutions that can be? And let's break those down. And most of the time, it leads you to like, what's that first step? Which brings me to like the baseline of everything. If you don't sit with yourself and have some kind of idea or plan, that means others have it for you. So who are you living for? For you, or for convenience for those around you, or for being okay with receiving half of stuff? Like you want it, you get out, you grind. If you truly believe in it and you strategize for it, not everything is going to be perfect. Anybody that says that it's a lie, it's a lie. But you got to strategize and really identify what you want and start taking those small actions daily. 1% a day is better than no percent because tomorrow's going to come regardless. So whether you're going to do it or you're not going to do it, tomorrow's still coming. You just lost another day. Also, I'm a big believer in like bet crazy. There's no dream that's impossible. When you break down the word impossible, it's I'm possible. So identify what is your I? Who are you? and we get it cracking. I have a catering company. I'm still shocked by that every day. Okay. But I hope that helps somebody. I'm a big believer in like sharing information. There's some folks that like to gatekeep and everything is amazing and we got this and we got that. No, we take L's, but my L's are not losses. My L's are lessons. Because if you don't learn the lesson that L, came about with, you're gonna keep repeating that same path until you learn it and choose different. That's all I got, y'all.
That was good. Jessica, you got 5 minutes. You can add whatever you need to add in there to bring it.
Man,
That's you on
I
fire.
appreciate it.
You got a little bit more. You got 4 minutes.
I mean, yeah, at the end of the day, it's all about like we allow the day to day to be the excuse. Life is going to life. And if it's not lifing, like that's a lie. It's gonna happen, whether it's stuff that is in your control, stuff that's out of your control. But how much more like spun around would you be if you don't at least have some kind of guide? I know I need to do, I have to do. Something I'm learning about myself daily is I need to like schedule and structure and like block out time to do said things. Whether it's like, man, let me research this, let me explore this, let me collaborate. And honestly, that's another thing. Like collaboration is currency. If you are not reaching up, reaching out, or reaching down, you're not helping nobody in your community. You know what I mean? So really sit down with a pen and paper. It may sound old school. Sit down with pen and paper. What are your likes, your passions? And message is more towards like folks that may be in the 9 to 5 space and want to transition out. What I find is the security is always going to be an issue, right? Having that check consistently. But if you truly believe in yourself and you do the effort, because I posted something yesterday, faith has a weird way of working, like when you implement it and you take the steps, you're almost rewarded for doing the things. It's going to get messy. It's going to get ugly. It's not going to go according to your plan, but that's okay. It's a lot of pivoting. I should just get it tattooed right here. Pivot. That's what we do. We got to flex. We got to move. Sometimes it doesn't move at the speed we want, but that's okay. It's still movement. So I hope that helped y'all. I don't want to keep spinning it, but at the end of the day, take a chance on yourself. If you are not confident to take that chance, maybe you need more data on yourself. You need more information. That's when those lists come in. What do you like? This is how I would kick it off. What do you like? What don't you like? What are you passionate about? What have you tried? And like find that middle and try some shit. Fuck some shit up. And I know we're not supposed to swear, but you got to. You got to try everything.
Oh, wow. Wow. Okay. Teresa, do you wanna chime in? Because man, I got notes.
It was just Jessica, I love it. I love it. I think you really dropped some gems. It's not a loss, it's a lesson.
That's
It's
it.
Come
it's
on.
not a loss, it's a lesson. Y'all get that?
I
How many
got it.
people found
Write that
value
one
in just
down.
that
Put
statement?
it on a shirt.
Yeah, then collaboration is currency. How many of
Ooh,
y'all got that? How many of y'all know that just this group right here, we could probably change the world if we all wanted to. It's that collaborative thing, that bringing the energy in. If y'all know that, y'all got to give, just give it up. Give it
yeah.
up because Jessica just shared with us some
Man.
information that we can take and we can utilize. And you see her faith is strong. And she said it's not always perfect, but you can definitely expect she's not gatekeeping, she's sharing the real deal and what's happening in her world.
Ooh.
I think it's
I
amazing.
the one thing you said stood out for me, you said, if you don't know what you don't like, other people will have plans for you. I felt
Mm,
that in my toes, my spirit, everywhere. I was like, wow. And is that
100%.
not
Mhm.
so true? That is okay. Let me get back to my thing because I will go all off track. Okay. So Jessica, what did you learn about yourself in this 10 minutes you were speaking? What did you learn about yourself?
First of all, I have in the last year I have tried to do these types of things often, and I'm learning that I love to freestyle. Give me a topic and I'm going. Especially when it has
Mm,
to do with entrepreneurship, when it has to do with impact, motivating, like that's my space. Like I said before, I'm not somebody that has been traditionally trained or even had this on my roadmap. So much of my life now are things I never would have even imagined. You
Mm.
know, like the fact that I don't work a job. I've been working since I'm 40 years old and I was working since I was 15. To even imagine not working a 9 to 5, like punching a clock is crazy to me. So that alone gives me motivation of like anything is possible. And to me, we're 3 years young. This is the beginning.
Yes.
Part of the mission of our business, yes, we are a catering company, but the DNA of our business is community impact. We have residencies in Bronzeville. If you're from the Chicagoland area, we have residencies in Bronzeville, Inglewood, Hyde Park.
yeah.
I like to represent what entrepreneurship can look like to the youth of Chicago as someone that looks like them. I don't
Yes.
need to be suited and booted. I don't need to be an executive. I don't need to be in marketing. And that's never no shade to any of that. But I know my space and my lane, and that is to impact community. So if I can use food as a lever to show entrepreneurship and like exemplify it and teach them it's possible. And then on another segue, we do like food education, specifically to the Black and brown kids of the community to introduce them to like whole nutritious food. Why does one side of my neighborhood know about mango? Why does my other side only know about orange and etc.? So like bridging that gap. One last thing I'll leave you with because I'm a firm believer. We want to change the world, but we can't take that, we can't bite that chunk off and swallow it alone. What needs
Mm,
to happen is everybody, if you stretch your arms out, you need to impact those people. And those people are going to continue to do that. That's how we take over the world. That's how we impact communities. So if you are not if you have not identified and solidified what your mission is, think that there are people around you in your arm's length that are missing out on an opportunity because you have not stepped up to the plate.
ooh-wee.
Mm, mm,
Oh,
mm.
Jessica, my man is like, oh, I can see it. You got so much conviction, like it's just there. Okay, let shout out Jessica. That
Man, thank you
is what
guys.
happened when you trust out
Appreciate it.
loud. That is trust out loud right there. Thank you so much for sharing it. You got me on
Thank
fire over
you
here,
for the opportunity. I love it, man. I
girl.
love to be a part of the room. Thank you.
Ah, yes, y'all. How did y'all enjoy that? I saw in the chat. Teresa, you want to look in the chat because let give her
Yeah,
flowers.
it's powerfully motivating. I'm seeing words like that. That people are thanking Jessica for sharing her story. She's got somebody, Faye, and gave her about 22 claps. I'm just saying, you remember what worked for others may not work for you, those kind of
Mm,
comments. And it's cool. We don't need to be comparing. We need to be looking at our own gifts and talents because, one thing God did is give us each individual gifts and talents, gifts and talents.
yes.
And he evidenced that to you on your fingerprint. You don't got to look no
Mm,
further. Okay. So collaboration is currency. Um, and we do need to know ourselves. I see that. There's a lady in here who's got the same exact initials as me with the same first name. And
yeah.
so the Miss
Come
Teresa
on.
Black Jordan is over here putting some information in the chat. So I think it's
Yes.
wonderful. Are we
Ah,
ready? Are we
we
ready to
are.
move
Just
forward?
real quick, Jessica, that collaborations currency, that needs to
Mm.
be, you need to market that. That can be a movement. I mean, that is so brandable. Collaboration is currency. Yeah, just think about that, okay? All right, let's move on. So our next not dynamic speaker, please help me welcome Donterria Jackson. She'll be speaking on grieving on level ground. Hello.
Hey,
Donterria, thank you for trusting yourself out loud. Are you ready? Somebody's
I'm
on
ready.
mute. Let
Can you
me,
hear me?
yeah, I can't. Okay, yes. So, Donterria, the room is yours.
Hello, everybody. My name is Donterria, as Chinitha said. And so my topic is on grieving on level ground. The grounding scripture is Psalm 143, verse 10, where the psalmist there is saying, teach me your ways, oh God, teach me to do your will, and let your good spirit guide me on level ground. And so that scripture became very important to me back on November 12th, 2025. Um, suddenly my husband passed on. He was not ill. I mean, he had had a kidney transplant. God brought him through all of that. That was years ago. And we had been married right around 21 years at the time. But we've been knowing each other since I was 17 years old in high school. I mean, he's never not really been a part. Even when we were apart, he was always a part of my life. And so on November 12th, God had other plans and just took him on. And so as anyone can imagine, it was I was just kind of thrown. I didn't even know what to do. I didn't even know what to say. I was in shock. And grief is one of those things that can hit any area of your life. And oftentimes we focus on the husbands or we focus on the humans, but you can grieve the loss of a job. You can grieve the loss of a friendship. You can grieve the loss of anything that was important to you, that you felt close to, that was a part of your routine. Jessica talked about a lot about how she left the 9 to 5, and though she wanted to do it, it was part of it. It's just something about your human nature that's just your routine. And so when I was going through the process, immediately what I did was go into prayer and say, God, I don't understand any of this. I said, I don't even understand. I mean, we thought we was going to be caught up in the rapture together. I don't even understand why he gone. What is this about? We got the girl in college. We got this, we got that. And I said, this makes no sense to me. And so as I began to pray, the Lord God gave me that scripture. And I started really thinking about what it meant to be on level ground. And sometimes grief can really just take you out of here. It shakes your very foundation. And when you're used to being with somebody every day, having a routine with them, a lot of things begin to change. I was it took me like 2 months to stop shopping like he was here. I mean, all of those things that you kind of take for granted when a person is in your life every day, and then all of a sudden, the phone calls, hey, what we eating tonight? That was his word. What we eating tonight? I don't know. What we eating tonight? All those things, those little things that you take for granted sometimes, are no longer there. So I had to learn new routines. And I would just encourage anybody who's grieving anything, you have to learn how to reestablish a routine. And that's what I've been doing since November 12th, asking God to shape my level ground. Grief is a part of life. It's not going to go anywhere. Um, when you think about the story of Lazarus and how Jesus went on and let him die. And then the scripture says, one of the shortest scriptures in the Bible, that says Jesus wept. And even if he knew that it was a greater purpose in the death of Lazarus, he still wept as a human. He still wept as a human. And so grief doesn't take things away. I mean, the life, God, even if he just don't take it away, it don't work like that. Grief is one of those things that are part of the human experience. It is normal. It is normal to grieve. It is normal to miss somebody who's been a part of your life. When it becomes abnormal is when it starts to overtake your life, and you can't grieve too long. There is a such thing as grieving too long. There is a such thing as not leveling out in your grief. There is a such thing as waking up every day like the death just happened, or the relationship just ended, or your job. It is something with that. And so what you really have to do, as I stated, you have to you have to reestablish routines. And then I think another really powerful thing for me, which I had to learn, was I had to let the love that remained love on me. And oftentimes when you're grieving, you want the love of the person or whatever the thing was. You want that in your life. And we some people, we tend to shut out what's left. But that's not the way to go. The way to go is to keep hold and keep tight of those that remain. Let people love on you. Whatever your community is, let people love on you. Let people care about you, call you, text you. And yes, it can be overwhelming. I know it can be overwhelming, all the calls, but they eventually drop off. And that's okay too, because guess what? Life keeps on living. It just keep going. And as even I think about what Jessica said, tomorrow's going to be here. It's going to come. You know, as long as we're breathing, as long as the Lord lets us live, we're going to keep on living. And so then it's up to us what we choose to do with each day. And so since November 12th, I just had to make some decisions about just staying on a level ground. And grief does, somebody put in the chat, I saw it a minute ago, grief does come in waves. I could just be sitting here and all of a sudden just grief just come, and I'll shed tears and I cry, but that's okay too. Because sometimes you have to sit in your feelings, and oftentimes, especially those that are believers of faith, you know, we get this thing where we feel like we cannot um, show any level of vulnerability, as if it's like a slap in God's face, and that's not true. Even God himself grieved when he created the world and all that sin was going on. It says over there in the Old Testament, it said God was grieved by all the things that the people was doing, his creation. So there is something to be said about those that believe in God the Father. He grieved. So if we're created in his image and his likeness, we're going to grieve. That's not going to be taken away. But it's how we grieve and the way we grieve, establishing routines, letting those love on you. And if you need additional help, being able to go after it, being able to seek help and just say, I'm having a hard time dealing with this. And knowing if you're a person that really grieves hard, then you have to take extra care of yourself. You have to know, I just can't do it today. Several people since my husband passed away had funerals. You know, people continue, life continues to go on. People continue to pass on. And a couple funerals I went to, a couple I couldn't handle. I couldn't emotionally. So you have to be okay with stepping back when you need to, and not letting people make you feel guilty or make people feel like you have no faith or you not believe in God. That is such a lie. And that is such a slap in the face of human. We're human. And so God made us to need human connection, human touch, human confirmation. As much as we try to say we don't care what people say, that's another lie. We need human affirmation. And not that we're living on it, but you need to hear you need affirmation. You need like what you think this trust room is. It's affirmation. There is something to be said about hearing another person say, you got this, you can go, you can do it. Yes, you're grieving, but guess what? Day by day, even if you got to take second by second, it can become level. The ground can become level again. And yes, I'm still grieving. Yes, I still cry. Yes, I still think about him. Yes, I still sleep with one of his t-shirts. Yes, I still do all of those things. But I am so grateful to God that by his good spirit, he is leading me in my grief on level ground. And that's it.
Wow.
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 Oh, Chinitha.
Wow. Wait, first before we get started, Teresa, Faye, I saw you were crying. What came up for you? I saw the tissue. Do you want to share what came up for you?
So, okay, pass this off because I'm going to cry a little bit. So, I'm working on a chapter for a book at Brave Voices. And what happened was I knew what I wanted to say. But when we went through the process yesterday, I found out there was a story inside me that I never told. And it was about grieving. I'm always the strong one. I'm always the supportive one. I'm always the comforter. And I never grieved all of these losses. I never said goodbye. I didn't even, like the funeral, you go and I didn't make it to the funeral because I had excuses of any family member. I went to friends, yeah, but no family members. So in my head, they're not really gone. They're somewhere out there. I never accepted it. When I got to that place yesterday, and then when you started speaking today, I knew God put me here so I could hear you, so that I could complete the process, because I'm not there yet.
Amen.
Oh,
And there are a lot of people that have always just been somewhere out there because I didn't finish the process.
oh, wow.
So
Okay.
thank you.
Wow. Wow. Thank you for sharing that, Faye. Thank you for being vulnerable to share that. That is everything happens for a reason. Teresa, you want to share? Because I got a lot to say.
Yeah, I mean, it hits very powerful. All I can say is that I know grief intimately. You know, I'm the mother who has lost a son. So I know grief intimately, and everything that you said here today, particularly the part about the love that you had for this person and the ability for you to then convert that some way so that that love is now, for me, it's the love is showered on everyone. But Donterria, I'm telling you, you hit it right on the head, getting to that level ground and really just allowing God to lead you through this, knowing that every one of us will experience grief. It is not something we can avoid or afford to ignore because it is definitely coming. But to your point, we figure it out. Every day gets a little bit better, and I heard that in your story. So,
Oof.
Thank you.
yes.
Wow. Dontaria, is that the
Yes.
first time you spoke about like in this capacity? Or you always been speaking about it like this?
No, I've been speaking since I was about 17. I just, life started life in about 3 years ago, and I just backed away from some things. I'll put it like that. And so, um, a couple years ago, me and my husband transitioned. A ministry that we was in, unfortunately, closed its doors, and that was a transition. So that was another grief. And then, transitioning to a whole nother ministry, that was a new thing. So yeah, over and over time, God has been rebuilding me in only a way that He can. That's all I can say.
Mm. Wow. When you was speaking, like so much resonated, and I wrote down two words that just stood out to me like a sore thumb. And I wrote grief coach, right? Like the book. Like when you speak, oh my God, it's you definitely have a story. You have a community because everybody has to go through grief. You can help them because you've been able to go through it in an intimate way, like Teresa said. But you are magnetic, and yeah, just I can resonate. So if you ever think about being a coach one day, or writing a book, or doing like having rooms like this as the grief coach, and a lot of times when you're going through things, when you help other people while they're going through it, it helps you at the same time. But just keep never stop speaking. Just never stop speaking. Okay. Thank you for trusting out loud, Dontaria. Is there anything in the comments that I know something in the comments, y'all.
Listen, Kimberly's saying, great job, Elder Terry, great job. So we know she's an elder. We know she's bringing her faith to the table
Come
and
on.
showing everybody. We've got people praying for strength. So we've got a lot of comments, just really acknowledging, just how impactful these words are and how they make a difference. They're going to make a difference. I know somebody in the room is going to be impacted. Well, if we've already
Including
seen
me.
a
I'm
couple of people
impacted already.
impacted, yes,
Oh
yes,
man, it's been so
absolutely.
I'm grateful. I'm so grateful. I'm grateful. Sometimes you plan things, you have ideas, you never know what it turns into, and it's already beyond my wildest imagination. So with that, let's welcome our next dynamic speaker. Please help me welcome this woman who said yes. And she only met me maybe a week ago. Okay. Her name is Sharon Merritt. and her topic is trauma and growth. Sharon, thank you for trusting out loud. Are you ready? Sharon, are you ready? Okay, she not here. Oh, I can't
You're
see.
on mute, Sharon. You're on mute. You got to unmute.
Let's see. Can we unmute her or no?
I'm trying to, but I think all we can do is ask her to unmute. There you
Can
go.
you hear me?
Yes, we can
Oh,
hear
okay.
you.
Hi.
Are you ready,
Hello.
Sharon?
Can you hear me? I
Yes.
am ready if you're ready.
All right, now we are ready. The timer has started.
One second. Chinitha,
Okay.
I want to tell all these ladies, thank you so much. You know, I got to run.
Yes.
And you got this. Sharon, take it away. I'm going to be listening from the car.
Yes.
Gotcha.
Thank you, Teresa. You start. You
Hi,
ready?
ladies. Hello, hello, hello. My name is Sharon Merritt. I'm a mother of 5 and all that other good stuff. Y'all excuse me. I just literally got out of church. I've been running a fool. But anyway, my topic was supposed to be, and I don't know, what me find in the ring, but here it goes, is trauma to growth. And I know did study, I did do anything, just try to give what I know.
Sharon, you breaking up. You're breaking up. Is there a way? Can you hear us clear?
I can hear you guys. Can you guys hear me?
You're breaking up when you speak. Yeah, you're breaking up when you speak, and we can't really hear you.
I'm so sorry.
Do you want us to come to you next, and then that way you have time to settle somewhere so the audio can be clear?
I'm breaking up now. It's breaking down. I'll come next.
Oh, we can't hear you, Sharon. I'm so sorry. We can't hear you.
Chinitha, she's gonna call.
I'm sorry. Somebody said something. Okay, what we're gonna do, Sharon, if you can hear me, we're gonna move on to the next speaker, and then if you're ready after that, if you can, then you can come back up. We got 2 more speakers after you, so if you're able to be settled into a area we can like pull over, then we'll come back to you. Is that okay?
Absolutely.
Okay. All right. So we have technical difficulties part of the process, right? It happens. So with that, let's bring up our next amazing speaker. So our next speaker is Faye Constantino, and her topic is on unconditional love. And Faye, thank you for being on stage and talking to Donterria, but it's your turn now. Thank you for trusting out loud. Are you ready?
I am.
All right, let me get the timer up. And the room is yours, Faye.
So I always say, and when I say I always say, for the last 2 years, I have always said that the biggest lies ever told are the lies we tell ourselves. And it's because of those lies that we give ourselves what I call transactional love. And the thing is, those lives aren't even yours. So let me tell you a little bit about how I learned this. So when I was a kid, I was the youngest. And my brother Butch was 10 years older than me. I'm probably not supposed to say names, but he was 10 years older than me. And that's his nickname, by the way. And he was already in school. So I know the rest of the story now, but for 63 years, I didn't. So I was what they used to call a mirror child. I was fascinated by the mirror. I wasn't looking at me, but as a child, I had to climb up on the bathroom sink to brush my teeth. And when I was on the bathroom sink, if I looked down, I could see the floor. So I thought there was another room. Then I would open the medicine cabinet and it was gone. I close it and it's there. It's gone. It's there. It's gone. It's there. My brother, what he saw was a mean girl in the making. See, he was picked on at school. And he thought I was staring in the mirror because I loved myself. So he said a lot of mean things. And one of the mean things that I realize now was probably what was being said to him by those mean girls was ugly. Ugly. You keep looking in the mirror, it's gonna break. And when the cameras came out, don't look at the lens, it's gonna break. You're gonna break the camera, you're gonna ruin the pictures. And so the first Christmas picture that I actually could post for the camera, I was 2.5-ish. I was born in October, so 2 and a couple of months. And I'm holding my doll in front of my face, so you can only see my eyes. So I could still see where the camera was, but the camera wouldn't break. Now, of course, the mirrors didn't shatter, the cameras didn't break. So I stopped believing that lie, but not the other one, the ugly one. And when I started to school, it just got reinforced because I was different. I had red curly hair and freckles and nobody else did. They were all blondes and brunettes. And so what ended up happening with me is I just accepted that I was different and that I would never fit in. And I was always chosen last. And it was okay because that was who I am. And so when I got my first job, I said, I know I don't look like much, but by the time you get to know me, you're going to love me and you won't want to lose me. And they would give me a chance. And I continued that throughout my life. Every job, I did the same thing. I know I don't look like much, but in the end, you're going to love me and you're not going to want to lose me. And that was another lie that I was telling because I didn't love me. I thought that love was for the beautiful people and I was not one of the beautiful people. And so when I met my mentor, I was just like 62. I was disabled. I was applying for disability. And I was in a wheelchair in 2014. And so I went on an audition to build a website. I know how to survive in a world where I'm behind the scenes. I've always been behind the scenes. I was backstage in high school, stage crew, never on out front. And when I met him, he was great, man. He was like, we're brutally honest with ourselves. We accept our limitations. And his motto was, we're short, fat, and ugly, and nobody sees us coming. We're invisible. And I thought, hey, he really sees me. I am short, fat, and ugly. And then I went to see Wicked. Now, I've read the books, and I've watched the videos on YouTube that people did with their phones. But there's a song. God, I'm going to glasses off. There's a song that Fierro sings in the library. And he says, the trouble with schools is they always teach the wrong lessons. Believe me, I've been kicked out of enough for them to know. And I realized that the trouble with life is it teaches us the wrong lessons. And so in Thanksgiving of 2024, I almost stood up in the theater and screamed at everybody, did you hear what he just said? Nothing matters. All the stuff you think matters doesn't matter. And I went on a journey to learn what really matters. And what I learned is that so we all think, that God has to forgive us for our sins and then he'll love us. But that's not the truth. That's just a lie. We think that we have to obey the 10 commandments and then God will love us. No, that's not true. It's a lie. The truth is if any of you have children or have ever held a baby in your arms, you know that we are born to receive unconditional love. You will never hold it against your child if they don't walk right away, or if they don't learn to talk, or if they don't get straight A's. You do not give them transactional love. You give them unconditional love. It's our birthright. And we are all his children. He held us in his arms before he sent us here. He gave us each a mission. But the one thing that he never, ever said, if you don't do it right, I'm not going to love you anymore. He never said that. Never. And so when I decided that I wanted to bring this message to the world, I started with, well, as soon as I get my hair cut and I get my teeth fixed, and I maybe got to get this scar off my nose. And I didn't realize I was still giving myself conditions that I couldn't love myself until I lost a little more weight. And then recently, somebody who had no reason to love me, no reason to reach out to me, nothing to gain. You know, people always have something to gain. They had nothing to gain. And they loved me anyway. And they taught me that I deserve it. They didn't know me. And what I learned was all those lies I've been telling myself, I was so busy believing them, I didn't know me either. So I'm going to give you what I want you to know about God. Number one, you were pre-forgiven. So forget it. Just forget it. Once you came to the cross, you were pre-forgiven. He says in Revelations, this is the lamb that was slain before the foundations of the earth. So before Adam and Eve, you were already forgiven. So just forget about sin. I'm not saying kill people or anything like that. I'm just saying forget it. You were already pre-forgiven. He loves you. Get over it. God is love. Love is the only law. Jesus said it. He said, love thy neighbor as thyself is the whole depth and breadth of the law. Well, how can you love your neighbor if you don't love yourself? So God is love, and love is the wholeness of the law. So let's do this. Let's give ourselves what he gave us as a birthright. Unconditional love.
Faye. Oh my God. Wow. What a powerful message. I'm gonna ask somebody, anybody want to share a takeaway from that before I share mine? Anybody willing to come off mute? Maybe off camera and share your takeaway? Because Faye touched on so many you touched on so many things. Who's speaking? Is that you?
Amen. This
Okay.
Militia. Moving around, so I can't take the camera off now. I don't want to expose this
Yeah.
background there yet. But however, I just want to say to Faye and your spirit, just be encouraged. Be encouraged, because those lessons you had from when you was younger to when you got to your revelation, those was all stepping stones and learning blocks to be able to receive the love that you know that God has for you the whole entire time. When the world wanted you to think that you was nothing, little, and thought of less, you know God still carried you. So I just want you to be encouraged and know that it doesn't matter what people say, because that's just people. We're working towards a spiritual report card. We care about what the Lord says. Okay. So who cares about what that person's saying that? Because it's all temporary. Everything is temporary. As a mortician, I can tell you, nothing follows the hearse besides the family. None of your houses, no bank accounts. I haven't seen your jobs. I haven't seen those individuals behind the hearse. Okay. So understand that what you're doing now and moving forward, you have to love unconditionally, not under conditions. Because if you love under condition, that's how it be transactional. So with all of those lessons you had growing up to now, when you see people, you make sure they can see the Lord in you, God first, his glory, then you. That's why we always say, Lord, we asking that you decrease us so you can increase yourself in us. Forget everybody else. That's what I'm going to tell you. Forget everybody else. When you walk in a room, you're the beautifulest one there. Okay? When you look in that mirror, I am beautiful. I appear beautiful to all those that look at me. And so it is. And walk away.
Ooh-wee.
Thank you so much. Thank you
Ooh-wee.
so
Wow.
much.
She said nothing following behind a hearse. Did y'all hear that?
I heard that.
Nothing following behind a hearse. Ooh, oh my God. Okay. Brianna got a hand up because that you dropped a bomb, Melisha. Okay. Brianna, you got your hand up. Can you hear us?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, no, definitely. I really resonate with everything that you shared, and what everybody else shared as well. Sorry if I sound a bit tired. I've been out all day yesterday. But the biggest thing that, like on my journey that is like the main thing of what I hear what you're saying as well, about love is that like while we were yet sinners, while we were his enemies, the Bible talks about how in Ephesians that as Gentiles, we were separated from God, like without hope, like away from the covenants, away from the promises. And yet God came through Christ and he died our death. You know what I mean? And so to be able to love others, like I've always, sometimes we try to do it in the flesh. Like sometimes we try to, how can I love somebody that does this to me or said this to me or hurt me and they're the closest person to me or whatever the case may be. And the reality is it's like what you said and what we know is like if you don't realize, Jesus was sitting at the table with not Simon, his disciple, but I guess a Pharisee, and a woman came up to him and started pouring oil on his feet or wiping her hair, his feet with her hair. And he asked him, like, how much do you think basically she's been forgiven? Like would it compared to what somebody's like if they had a bunch of money they had to pay off compared to a small portion, like how much do you think basically is she grateful for the forgiveness? And I feel like a lot of people, and I see it in conversations that I have, they don't realize the amount of forgiveness that God has given because he's forgiven us of everything we've ever done then, now, in the future. You know what I mean? He's not imputing sin against us. He came in the world to call us to himself. And if you don't see that first, then you can never love others well because you don't know how much you've been loved. And so like once that clicks in your head, like once you understand that, then it's like when anybody does something to you, it's like, well, if he died to redeem the image of God that was lost for humanity, for me, while I was out here doing whatever I wanted to do, behaving however I wanted to behave, then how can I not do that for somebody else? Because I see it. I can actually see it. The revelation of the extension of God's love is Christ crucified. And if that is the life that I'm supposed to lay down, then I will crucify my flesh to not what how can the flesh be anything? How can we have that say if we're like you said, if it's going to be transactional or not? There's no other option. I think people give themselves the option to decide, oh, because you said this, because you did this, like I'm going to take my love. But like you said, God never does that to us. Like he even those that do not decide to choose him, like he desires that they don't. He wishes that no one perishes. He's always sending somebody, or there's always somebody trying to preach the gospel to them so that they can be saved. And yet it's still down to their choice, but God still doesn't stop. He doesn't still, you know what I mean? Like he chastises even those he loves, so I really resonated with what you said. And I feel like if people just understood that message, like people, like even Christians, and that say, sometimes I've been the hypocritical Christian before, but I feel like people would really be able to not have all these arguments and not be able to like you said, like call people out of name or do crazy things. Like you would actually see what you said, Cynthia, like just people living their life and allowing Christ to be seen through them. That's what you would really see.
Wow. Y'all on fire today. Brianna, I know you in the UK, so I don't know what time it is, but shout out to you for being here. Just for sharing. That was so good. Faye, you have stirred up a movement. And transactional love is something that a lot of us don't even realize we still do. We operate from. And whether that's with our family or our loved ones or professional relationships, there's also some kind of transactional love we're not always aware of. And what stood out to me was the mirror moment. And I don't know if you're familiar with my story, but that is how I began my journey of transformation. But you said in the mirror, what you saw versus what your brother saw was totally different in his perception. And that matters. And then that theater moment, we went to yell out, "Do you guys see this?" Like that is what happened when we learn something and we want people to we want to share with people and nobody can hear us, but you want to yell it out. So I can resonate with that so much. Thank you, Faye, for being here. Thank you for sharing that. A lot of us don't talk about self-love and what we see in the mirror. We all go through it in some capacity. And but you to be here talking and sharing how you still can see that in certain things you was doing, right? I got to fix my teeth and my no. Faye, I can resonate. Thank you for sharing that. And thank you for trusting out loud. Okay. Wow. Wow. Oh,
Thank
wow.
you so much, Chinitha, for having me. I cannot tell you. I actually pulled up the verse so that I would not think. Says, take no thought how or what ye shall speak, for it shall be given you in that same hour what ye shall speak, for it is not ye that speak, but the Spirit of your Father will speak through you. And I pulled it up so that I wouldn't forget to just let it go. So thank you so much.
Oh my God. Faye, look at the chat. Look at the chat. I mean, Teresa gone. I gotta read the chat, y'all. So just bear with me, okay? We got wow. I'm sorry, can you hear that? We got wow. This was something. Amen. Unconditional love. She had me captivated. Unconditional is a birthright. Love covers a multitude of sin. I will never understand why society teaches some of our families to teach us the wrong lessons. I can relate. I can relate to that. Hallelujah. His love's unconditional. Glory. I mean, look at the chat, Faye, when you get a chance. You freed up some people today who weren't probably supposed to be here, but they logged on. So thank you for that. We're going to move back. Sharon, are you ready? Can you hear us? Well, can you hear me? I'm sorry. Can you hear me? You muted. I just sent the request on mute.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, you coming through clear as day. You ready?
I'm ready yes, I'm ready. Let's
Yes,
get it going.
let me get the timer back up. Wow, you got I'm just thankful. Let me get the timer up and then you're talking about trauma. I think it was trauma and growth.
Yes,
And
ma'am.
we're excited to hear you. So with that, the room is yours, Sharon.
Hello again. Sorry for the trouble. Trauma girl. Here we go. This is what I start this. I praise you because I am fully and wonderfully made. Your words are wonderful. I know that full well. It is a timeless message of inherent worth. Reminding us that every person is uniquely crafted with deep purpose and value. That's another version, but it's not King's, but you pick it up. And I start with that because my trauma, we can put all kind of labels on our trauma. We can all say that I've been through this, I've been through that, I'm hurt because of this, I'm hurting because of that. Let me give you just a brief, just let you look in briefly. I'm a mother of 5, and I've always been a single mother, and I've always encountered some kind of abuse, always. Ever since I remember, I've always encountered some kind of lie that you're not this, some kind of jealous that you're not this. I've always from being from being in domestic violence, from being raped, from being molested. All of it, all of it. I still have truth. We're gonna work on that later. But my trauma from that caused me to part of love or transactional love, or caused me to say that I'm not worthy. I don't get it, or who want to hear me, or who want to see me. Always devaluing myself from trauma, always in the background, because who wants me? So my self-medication was food. Let me tell y'all that little about me too. So I thought that if I was, a big girl, that I was stacked from the floor up, stacked always my entire life. So I'm thinking, okay, so eating, so if I cover her up, they won't get to see her, and then they abuse her, or they mistreat her, or they can't tell her that she's worthy, or they feel like there's a piece of crap. They can walk over her and use her when they're ready. That was my self-medication. So I would eat, and I would eat, and I would eat, and I would eat, and I would eat, just to hide me, just to to keep me in the background, because everybody, don't nobody like fat girls, don't nobody want to bother with fat girls anyway. They value us and down on us anyway. So this is my thinking. All this trauma, never addressing the trauma, never being able to put my finger on exactly what's wrong with me. Knowing things bad things were happening, but never being able to verbalize, never being able to come to you and communicate with you exactly what's wrong with me, or how I feel, or why I feel this way. My at the point now, I grew a little bit, and I'm confrontational now. So I've grabbed hold of that trauma. It took some time to do it, and I confront it, because my emotions are real, because what happened to me is real, and I had to find a way to deal with it. So I confront these things that has happened to me, and the way that I feel, because my feelings are very valid, because I'm a real person, and because I hurt. And because I be happy, or I can be mean, and I be sad. I have valid emotion. So I'm fronting this trauma, and it doesn't all come at once. I'm 57 years old, and I'm still confronting. I'm still getting up. I had, thank God, my pastor preached a sermon that said one time, lay the axe to the root. So that meant I had to dig up some stuff. And in my digging, even to this day, I'm still digging, I'm still confronting, I'm still dealing with my feelings, I'm still dealing with the things that happened to me. But I came to a crossroad, and I said to self, you can't stay here. You cannot stay here. How I operated that kind of grief, that kind of sadness, and kind of not being able to raise children. How I operated that, it was only by God's grace. It was only by God's grace that I was able to raise them, or that I was able to move through life and still make things seem like they were working. It was all God. And so I said to myself, I can't stay here. I need help. And I did seek a traditional counselor. I did seek out a lot of things with my pastor. He's gone to glory now. But I did seek out a lot from him. He walked me through a lot of things. But I said, eventually had to come to Sharon, and I had to say, Sharon, what do you want? What do you want out of life? You wanna keep being locked in this trauma, or letting the trauma itself keep abusing you, keep you thinking that you're less than, and you're nothing, and you don't get to voice your opinion, or you don't get to say. Very loud now. I'm very intentional. I haven't yet learned how to write down paper and put things together, but I'm intentional about love. I'm intentional about abuse. I'm intentional. I consider it malay. I'm very intentional about my growth. And I took that, and I said to God, you can't stay here. I need help to move forward. I need help. And so God gave me help. He gave me, he showed me, he taught me, he moved me forward, and I'm moving forward today. My growth, what I want. First, I wanted to be able to, be able to say that, okay, these things happen to me. These things happen to me. Okay, God, what am I supposed to do with this? I was led to that job. I'm Flynn, I'm wonderfully made. You knew those things happened to me. You knew that, but you did not let me die in that. So there must be something on the other side for me. You help me there, could show me, be intentional with the steps that you give me to take. I want to grow. And I'm growing because I laid my hands, I want better. I have to have better. What's better? Community is better. I talk to my sisters now. I can help them move along the way. I believe community. I have to have community. I need to be able to say or be around women, people, period, that I can validate and that I can move forward, that I love unconditionally. I'm not worried about the state you're in because we can stat. We can grow from that. We don't have to stay in that. I'm not worried about your hair, your teeth. You don't get, you're a big girl, you're a little girl. None of that matters to me. Only thing that matters to me is being in community and being in constant love, walking in constant forgiveness. I had to come to a place where I had to forgive. So I forgave all those and all those things. I even had to forgive me because some choices that I made, I say some of the choices that made is the sum of our life, who we are. That don't mean always bad, but it don't always mean good. But the big thing about it is we can fix it. We can grow from that. What do I want to go? What do you want to do? The craziest thing that you want to say, God, here are my plans. They're not going to be his plans because he's going to move you in a different direction. Who the hell out that I want to see y'all and tell y'all I've been raped, molested, and beat, and did everything to me. Everything that you could think of been done to me. But I can stand for you today and tell you growth is possible. God will move you forward. God will lay his hand. His hand is already upon you. From the foundation of the earth, his hand was upon you. We just have to come through some things. And you can come through them. Growth is possible. Healing is possible. Moving forward possible. But do you want it? The hardest thing that you think that you cannot do, put your hand to it. Even if you look back again, put it back there and said, I want this, need this, and execute plans and things to do that. I'm in community. I'm loving a love women. Period. Love you guys. All I got.
Wow, Sharon.
Yes,
Wow.
ma'am.
If y'all want to give some feedback, please put your hands up. I gotta keep what I gotta get out because wow, so much of what you said really, really resonated. And when you talked about constant forgiveness and forgiving not just the others, but ourselves as well, it reminded me of what I did when I was starting my healing journey. I wrote a letter to my 8-year-old self. And I told her, I forgive you, blah, blah, blah. And now I release you because it was that 8-year-old me that was
Gotta
going through all the
release.
abuse and all that kind of
Yes,
stuff.
ma'am.
And I had to
Yes.
release her. And just thank
Yes.
you for sharing that story. You shared things that most people won't have the courage to even say out loud. You shared it in a room full of people, and that in itself will help you be free, right? Just thank you. You also talked about how you hid yourself through food. A lot of us hide ourselves through relationships, through money, through
Of
ambition.
course.
And so
Yes.
your girl. Okay. I can't even get the words out. But your story, your speech, your voice, I'm sure in some way we all resonated in some way. And it ain't the same for everybody, but just thank you for sharing that. And I'm so glad that I met you, Sharon. And just for you saying yes to this and trusting yourself out loud. We got 3 people with their hand raised, and there's a lot in the chat. So let's go to Faye. I see first on my screen. First, Faye, you want to give your takeaways?
Listen, Sharon, listening to you, I mean, that this is such a strong, powerful mission that you have. But I remembered a pastor that said, when we ask God for forgiveness, he throws those sins into the sea of forgetfulness, which is flowing away from the throne of God, which means the longer it gets, the further away it gets. So when you come back next week, because we don't do that, we bury it in the backyard like a pet. And a week later, we're going, digging it back up and looking at it again and going, God, I need forgiveness for this. And he says, what? And it's like, God, don't you remember? He says, remember what? Because he threw it away in the sea of forgetfulness. And we don't do that for ourselves. So last year, I really started listening. I learned to really listen to the answers. And I was asking God, I have so much trouble forgiving myself for those mistakes that got me hurt, for letting myself get into situations that got me hurt. I could forgive the hurter, but I couldn't forgive the person that got me into the situation that got me hurt. And not every trauma is that. Sometimes it's a blatant attack, but sometimes it was I put myself in situations and I thought I got what I deserved. And when I asked him, how can you forgive me for those things? And I was really quiet and I listened and I actually heard God laugh. He said, did you think I didn't know what you do with free will? How can I not forgive you? I gave you the gift of free will. I knew what you'd do with it. And I gave you the gift anyway.
Wow.
So, yeah, Sharon, forgiving yourself is the hardest part. But that's why God has no trouble forgiving us. Because it was built in.
Thank you, Faith. Thank you. We have Myra. Myra, put your hand up. You can unmute. You're muted, Myra.
All right, is it better now? Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am, we can hear you.
Okay, thank you so much. I appreciate that. I just wanted to actually thank Terry for inviting me to this today, because I had no idea what it really was going to be. And basically, I got something from the beginning to the very end to Sharon's last topic, the job disappointment. From your first speaker, she's mentioned about when you're fired from your job for probably no fault of your own. And then you can sit there and wonder, well, God spoke to me and said, what are you going to do? Are you going to sit here and be mad with the way things went? Or, you're going to collect your unemployment, but you're going to still be mad about it? Or are there some things what you want to do? Like I was on Indeed, actually applying for jobs that I really don't want to do anymore. I did something else. I tried to reroute myself. I didn't really want that job. And I think Melissa, she said she did not want the job. So God let her go from that. And so that spoke to me, and it made me think of some things that are my passion, what I would like to do. And also the grieving part, where Terry mentioned, what are you going to do with that grief? Are you going to eventually, and it was straight into the job, is reestablish your new routine, get settled in. And even if you still have some thoughts, sit in it, but you have to reestablish your new routine. And the loving unconditionally. I've had people who in my family told me, made me believe I wasn't good enough because I didn't look like everyone else. And even to this day, I still feel a little ashamed, but if you're a Christian and you believe God has forgiven you of all the things that you did, why are you still holding, are you still meditating on things that they did? You have to show yourself, show the love of God in you. So I know this is long, but I just wanted to let you guys know that you helped me today. I was invited. I don't know anything about anyone except for Terry, but I'm glad that I'm here. I look at it as God speaking to me, and I have gained a lot from it. So thank you so much for everything. And I can't allow myself to just feel that I don't measure up. I used to look at myself in the mirror and say, "You are the ugliest thing." And so now, kind of recently, I would post a lot of pictures on like Facebook because I never really thought I was looking like anything ever. I thought I was the ugliest person ever lived. So thank you all. God bless everybody.
Oh, Myra, thank you so, so much. Y'all are blessing me today. We got two more people. Brianna, you want to share your takeaway for Sharon?
Oh, sorry. Yeah, no, I do. I want to say what Faye said. Oh my gosh, I didn't think it was gonna make me cry, but it did. What did you say? He said like he laughed, like God laughed and was like, basically, did you not know did you not know that the free will that I was gonna give you, like, did you not know that I didn't think what you're gonna do with it? And that hit me because, um, like recently in May, and this is what I've been like saying on my stories, on my lives to people that I meet, and I'm just like, listen, I gotta tell somebody because like when you decide what Sharon was talking about, like not let your trauma or the situation or life speak louder than truth, like that's when like change takes place, and for me, like it had to come to a place of coming to the end of myself. Because I was in it before, but then like, you can get deceived very quickly if you don't hold on to truth. But I got to this place of being grateful again. Paul talks about being rooted down into Christ, abounding in thanksgiving, because if you can't be thankful, there's even a scientific study like if you have fear or anxiety, but you have thanksgiving, they can't be happening at the same time in your mind. And you get to choose between if you're going to be fearful or complaining or what. That part of your mind cannot be tapped into if Thanksgiving is the thing that is at the forefront. And I just have been keeping that, like, one day is like it's just hard, and the grieving part, like, of who I used to be before I was married and had kids to where I am now. Like, I have two kids, one on the way, and that time freedom, you're just like, oh, like I need to build systems, I need to build routines. Okay, like this is hard, but it's still a choice that you have to make, and when you're talking about trauma, Sharon, I'm in this book club that I didn't start, I was part of it since last year. And we were reading Personality Isn't Permanent by is it Benjamin Hardy? I think so. Yeah. And he was talking about trauma in a section, and he was talking about how, and it just reminded me of God. He was talking about how, like, this one artist, she didn't make art because something happened to her 50 years ago, or a teacher took her pencil in front of the class and corrected something on the drawing, and she never asked why. She never told anybody. And when she met him at an event, when he met her at an event and he saw her doodling on her napkin, she asked, like, how many books have you written already? Because it was like storyboards, and she's like, none. And when he told her why, she told him why. He's like, oh, when did this happen? He's like, 50 years ago. He's like, why? Like, why have you let something that happened so long ago keep you from the thing that you're so good at? And from that moment, things changed. But what he said after that was that sometimes people just need an empathetic witness, somebody to listen without even trying to fix somebody or do anything like that. And it took me through this. Like, it took me to Hebrews, because we know that Christ, he knew no sin, yet he can empathize with us on a level that no man can empathize with us. And sometimes we want to go to people. Sometimes we want people to, like, understand who we are or what's going on and all these things. And there was a time where, like what you were saying, Sharon, like, because I've surrounded myself with people recently that have been that empathetic witness. There was one time I was just talking and talking, um, trying to figure out why. because I relate to overeating and using food as my comfort, or spending extra money, or just certain things where we put something in the place of God being the comfort. And I was talking to somebody, and I had just mentioned when I just want to lose weight, because before I was able to lose like 60 to 50 pounds. I didn't have my kids. I didn't have all of that. I was just there with my mom. She got like $900 in food stamps, and I've learned how to drive. So I was at the store getting the food for the house, making everything for everybody. And I lost the weight. But at that time, I also started running. And the reason why I started running, because me and my mom would argue. And that was when I recently lost my grandpa. And when the person talked, he was like, "Oh, so it wasn't that you were running to lose the weight. You were running because you didn't want to deal with the emotions. You didn't want to deal with the grief. You didn't want to deal with what was going on." And I just remember it just blew up like in my face. Like from that point until like recently, like that last year, I did not want to deal with emotionally hard things, because when my grandma died, my grandpa, took me to the front room and said, like, "If you ever need to talk to me, I'm here." And as a kid, you're not gonna go, you're not gonna go to, an adult to talk about what's going on. And so for me, when he passed away, I never had the opportunity, and so I was angry at myself, like you said, Faye, like where I just didn't want to forgive myself for um never talking to him, because it's just like, why didn't I? There was so much that I wanted to learn, or to know. And now, to this day, it does hurt. But there was a point where like you said, that grief just hit me like a whole wave, like someone just stabbed me in my heart, and I just cried. It was like, I forgive me, like I made the decision, but also he did as well as a grown adult, and yeah, like that was like the biggest transformation to the point where I'm at today. And I know this is a lot, but just really had to share it because I didn't know what to say. But like you said, like God will give you what to say. But like I just feel like I'm in such a place of freedom, to the point where it's just like not scary but crazy, because it's like when you tell somebody that you're in that place, they don't believe you. They think that you're crazy. They think, and I'm not even offended by that. I just no longer let the idols of what used to be the things that I put above Christ be the thing that rule my feelings, or rule my emotions, or rule my day to day. Like it's him. Like when I go to prayer, it's him that I look at. I'm not asking for much. I'm not asking to change a situation. If anything, I'm asking him to crucify my flesh and make me more conform to his death, so that I may experience the power of his resurrection. So that when people look at me, they don't see Brianna. They see him, because that's what we're made for. So I really wanted to share that. Didn't expect to cry. Blame it on my hormones.
Thank you, Brianna, for sharing that. You got to come back and have the room. You got to come back as a speaker for sure, whenever you have the time. But thank you for that feedback. We got one more. We got Jayna, who's actually our next upcoming speaker as well. So Jayna, can you share your takeaway real quick? You muted. I sent the a mute request.
All right, can you hear me now?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. My biggest takeaway is that I also speak about trauma. So
you're muted. You're muted again.
Okay, there we go. All right, this is a really big deal because I speak about trauma as well. So hearing the stories between Faye and Sharon, we're like connecting the dots about the person that I was and some of the battles that I fought in order to be able to get here. And just remembering how much I've grown and how important everybody's story is to share was so powerful, and is powerful because we're stepping out and trusting ourselves, which is part of this. But that's exactly what you have to do with trauma in order to overcome it. You can't stay stuck in it. So that was just a big, huge takeaway. And I love how God orders everybody's steps, because in every story, it was like, wow, I remember that chapter, or I remember that season, or I remember dealing with that battle, especially grief. For the longest time, I didn't even understand what grief was. I never fully grieved. And so hearing that just was so powerful, because there is so much that we grieve, not just the death, but the ideas can even be the ideas that we had, the transitions that we come through and that we go through, that all of that is grief that we need to process and go through. So it just really reminds me that when you show up, God connects you to the right people.
1000%. 1000. Wow. So I want to look at read the comments real quick. Sharon, you got you got a lot in here. So I'm gonna read a few. So we got in here, boy, did I have me with food, anything to cover up. I admire you for your courage and determination to confront these. Be encouraged. Remember the suffering of this present time is not worthy to be compared to the glory which shall be revealed. We got God's grace. Good you didn't stay in a sunken place. You searched for the light, and at the end of the tunnel, hallelujah. Amen for having the courage to ask God and yourself questions and seek help. Definitely resonate with what you're saying. Your mission to help people who have suffered trauma and learning to forgive them, but also forgive themselves. Self-forgiveness is the hardest part. Just look at the chat, Sharon. Thank you. This has been amazing, but we got one more. We got one more dynamic speaker, okay? Today, our final speaker is Jayna Palmer, and her topic is whose voice are you listening to? The importance of forgiveness. So, Jayna, thank you for trusting out loud. Are you ready, ma'am?
All right.
All right. Let me get the timer started. Just make sure you're ready first. All right, the timer started.
Let me try to get in a shaded spot. It is so hot out here today in Nebraska. All right. There we go. Can you still see me?
Yes, we can see you.
Okay, I am now ready.
Okay. Oh, let me start your time for you. Hold on, let me start it. All righty, the room is yours.
The voice you listen to builds your beliefs, and your beliefs build your life. I'm starting with that statement today, because how many of us have listened to the voices of other people? Listened to the parents saying, you need to do this. Listening to the teachers saying you're not good enough. Listening to the people who bullied you or abused you. See, when I say whose voice do you listen to, it's because I used to listen to everybody else's voices, and I had stopped listening to my own. I started being bullied at the age of 7, and bullied with permission, meaning that my cousin moved from New York to Nebraska, and we say things differently than they do in the East Coast. So soda, a soft drink is called soda. Here we say pop. And so every time I said I wanted a pop, he would hit me in my shoulder. And I was like, excuse me, what's going on? And I would fight back. I told the adults, and they said, it's tough love. He's trying to toughen you up. But what they didn't realize is that was the beginning to me understanding a twisted version of love. A twisted version that said it was okay to be abused. It was okay to be hit. That it didn't matter how you felt about the situation. It's what you're supposed to do. It is what you're supposed to endure. So for many years, not only did I have to deal with his bullying, when I tried to escape, running out of my house, hanging out with friends, I built a circle around other people who ended up doing the same thing. And I didn't understand. I didn't know. I would call out, I would cry out, and like, why is this happening to me? And so one day I tried to kill myself. I was 16 years old, and I had had enough of the abuse. I had had enough of the trauma that I had endured. I had been sexually assaulted multiple times by the age of 16. And so I went into the house. I said goodbye to my mom. and my siblings, and I turned on the stove, blew out the pilot lights, and laid in front of there saying, I want to die. But God had other plans. Because as I was lying there, he said, get up and move. And I got up and I moved. But what we fail to realize is that all those voices that we listened to built beliefs that even though I knew that I was supposed to live, I didn't really know how. And so I still made poor choices that showed that I didn't care if I lived or died. So when I was February 1st, 2021, I woke up, and this time I couldn't move. I couldn't move my arms. I couldn't move my legs. And for a moment, a calm came over me, like, if this is it, God, I've been more than ready. But God spoke up even louder, yelling, do you want to live or die? And in that moment, since he asked me that question, I actually had to choose. And I'm so thankful that I chose life. Because when I chose life, he told me to move again. And then I was able to move. I rolled off my bed, flat on my face onto the floor, but I moved. And ever since that day, I've been deciding, what better choices do I make? So I had to relearn what love actually was. Learning what God meant by love, not what people meant. Learning that love is unconditional. Love is forgiving. Love is kindness. Love does not hold accountability of the wrongs. And so for the first time in a long time, I was able to look in the mirror and say, Jayna, I love you. Because prior to this day, I had just been allowing life to happen to me, and I didn't really care. And it didn't matter that I had children. It didn't matter that I had grandchildren. The only thing that mattered is I was trying to live life so it would hurry up and end. And we forget that how we treat other people is because we're listening to the other voices that may have taught us. And those voices that we're told end up becoming our beliefs. So I believed that I wasn't loved, and it showed in my actions. It showed by me not taking care of my health. It showed me not taking care of my physical body, my mind. It showed at how I talked to my kids. And what we need to remember is that love isn't based on what those other voices say. Love is based upon what God tells us, who God says we are. And that I never really knew. See, when we live in the world's version of love, how are we supposed to love our neighbor? How are we supposed to love other people? We can't. We can't love other people because we don't know how to love ourselves. How can I even begin to love somebody else if I don't love me first? And we're taught how to take care of everybody else, but we're never taught how to take care of ourselves. So my message that I want to share with you today is that it's okay to love yourself. That's why the voices that you listen to is so important. You cannot listen to the voices of all the other people. You cannot listen to the voices of the world. You have to listen to the voice of God. And so often we want God to speak loudly, but he's whispering softly in our ear. He's the one whispering, telling you to go on, that you matter, that you are not done yet. You are here for a purpose. You are not here for a season. You are here for the life that he chose for you to live. So how dare you listen to everybody else instead of sitting quietly listening to him. It was never my choice to get up off that floor because I was too busy listening to all those other voices. It was God who actually picked me up and said, no, Jayna, not now. No, you got to keep moving. You have a purpose. And so when I ask you, whose voice are you listening to? It's not because I even want you to listen to mine. It's I want you to listen to his. Because the voice that you listen to will build your beliefs, and your beliefs build your life. Thank you.
Woo, Jayna. Now, sometimes you see people online and you don't know them. And I never knew you had that kind of story. Now we've done Next Time Speaker together, and I've never got to hear you speak before, but that story. Okay, if you got feedback, put your hands up. I'm gonna share mine first. Why it's hot on the stove. But Jayna, I have a few notes right here. Okay, you said you built the same circle of bullying with permission. Is that not something we do that we're not always aware of? We create the same circumstance that we try to avoid and run from.
Yes.
That you talk about the suicide attempt, and God said, "Get up." He said, "Get up." And then he said it again. He told you twice to move. Jayna, whose voice are you listening to? Is that your main keynote speech? Is this your main keynote speech?
Yes. Yes, it is.
Okay. All right. Just making sure. Wow. Thank you for trusting out loud. Thank you for sharing such a powerful, intimate story like that. You didn't have to choose that. You don't have to
But you're
be
welcome.
here, but you're saying yes, and you have no idea who will watch this video, maybe next week or maybe a few hours from now, but you can help them release that in them, right? Like, whose voice are you listening to? People that often struggle with, mental health and just these different things, and they hear, voices, but whose voice will you listen to? That part, okay? We got Faye with her hand up, and then I'll read the comments. If you want to share any takeaways with Jayna, and then we'll get everyone's takeaways at the end. We're closing up now. Please have your hand up. Okay, let me move on because I can talk too much. Faye, you want to share takeaway?
Yeah, first of all, Jayna, I love you and I've seen you before. This today was completely unbelievable. I want to give you just a couple of points. I started school when I was 5 because my dad realized that my mom wasn't capable of me being alone with her. So he told the school they had to take me. They didn't have a kindergarten, so he put me right in first grade. And as I said before, all the bullies, they just reinforced what my 10-year-old brother was always saying. But when I met my first husband, he's really my only husband. I just like to call him my first husband because I'm always looking for my next ex-husband. Anyway, when I met him, when he decided he wanted to marry me, when I said yes, it wasn't, I loved him, don't get me wrong. It was because I knew beyond a shadow of a doubt that he loved me more than anybody else in the world. And when I tell you the way that I knew that, everybody here gonna cry, I think. Don't grab the tissues now. He told me, I drink sometimes, and I'm told that sometimes I black out and I don't remember what I did. So before I ask you to marry me, I have to tell you, I'm going to have to teach you how to kill me because I don't want to be responsible for killing you. I love you too much. And I was like, whoa, he loves me. Not a red flag, not, he loves me so much. He's going to teach me how to kill him. He taught me 3 ways to kill him. 3 ways. The other thing was, this is crazy. The day I was born, my great-grandfather died. Right after they whispered in his ear, "It's a girl." He was in his rocking chair. He put his cigar out. He closed his eyes and he breathed his last breath. When my daughter Judy was born, my father-in-law, her grandfather, went out to celebrate with my husband, and he had a heart attack in there the day my daughter was born. But they kept him alive in the hospital because she had just been born that day, and they wanted us the next day on the death certificate. When my first husband died, we were already divorced, but he was in Ohio, and my daughter Judy found out that he was dead the day after her birthday in 2005. So in 2007, I had my daughter and my new grandson and her baby daddy down with my tax refund for her birthday week. And I went to work the day after her birthday, and I got hit by a truck. Now, I'd been suicidal my whole life. I used to pray at night. You know what you say, if I die before I wake, I pray the Lord my soul to take. I used to pray I'd die before I wake. But when I got hit by that truck and I was sitting there, I couldn't see. I was blinded by pain, but I was praying, not today. God, not today. It is the day after Judy's birthday. You could take me tomorrow, but not today. Not today. I will not be the reason that girl does not celebrate another birthday. And all this, I'm shaking, came up while you were speaking, Jayna. We have walked the same road. You're so needed right now. So needed. Do you know somebody commits suicide every 40 seconds?
Yes.
That's
Yes.
I guess.
Oh, wow. Thank you, Faye. We got Donterria.
I'll mute myself. Okay. What I just, it seems like most of the people that's been speaking are believers or have some level of belief in God, and it seems pretty mature. So I think what I want to say is we cannot forget that we have an adversary. And what it sounds like is just because I was bullied too. So I hate bullying. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. You want to get me started? Just talk to me about bullying, because I can't do it because it just shifts lives so much. But what has occurred to me is that the enemy tried very early in some of our lives to really just knock us down and out, and it seems like once he gets a foothold sometime, and we were young and didn't know, and he gets a foothold, and then he just comes in with all this other stuff, sexual trauma, mental trauma, all these different things. But I am so grateful to God that Chinitha opened up the trust room. So it gives people opportunity to talk through healing and
Yes.
what it's going to look like going forward. Because we can all, many of us, even the ones that weren't the speakers today, can pull out, for some of us, can pull out a traumatic situation. And I'm so grateful to God that we don't have to stay there. For Faye and Jayna and people that have just turned those things into testimonies and places they can help. And even if they're still working through their own trauma and healing, you can still be a wounded healer. So I am so very grateful and thankful that whatever the enemy tried to do and meant for evil, that God is going to make it, and he is making it for his good.
Ooh.
Amen.
Our good.
Amen.
Woo. Man, y'all, wow. Wow. Today has been incredible. You know, when I made that post, I just thought I was sharing something. And then when I got the urge to like, man, turn into something else, I had no idea what it would be. And just this alone today, it just shows me, like Donterria said, having a space where people can feel comfortable, vulnerable, because you don't even know who would be in these Zoom rooms watching that it can help. But today we heard from 5 amazing people, 5 voices, 5 different stories. I mean, but one decision to trust out loud. And it wasn't even today about the speakers just themselves, right? It's all of us in this moment because there are some parts you saw yourself in, right? I could resonate with everyone's story in some way, right? And maybe you realize that you have a voice as well. Maybe you realize that you've been given permission to bullies or given permission to abuse, right? Maybe you waiting for the moment to say, well, when I get my hair done and my glasses done, I can then come on camera, right? Once I lose the weight, I can come on camera. But today reminded us that that moment you're waiting for is right now, right now. And if at any point today you found yourself thinking like, I want to do that someday, I can do that. I can share my story. That's exactly why this space even exists. And one day the room can be yours, right? So if today encouraged you, I would love for you to do 3 things. And then we're going to get out of here. I want to get like some feedback from people who haven't spoken yet, right? Register for the next episode, which is next Sunday, same time, same place. And then invite someone who needs to hear this conversation. I'm about to clip this up and share this all over, right? If you see yourself online, and I'll share the clips with y'all as well, because somebody needs to hear this. I had no idea. I thought you were coming here talking about just, what I did. I had no idea the amount of impact. And I literally had I had the feelings like, oh my God, the conviction. It just was something very powerful. And then also the last thing, just share the replay. If you got to fast forward and clip it up, but share the replay because who do you know, maybe in your family, maybe in your circle, right, who dealing with some of these things, but they don't have the courage yet. They don't hear from God yet. They don't have the self-trust yet, right? Share the replay with them. You never know whose life can change because you decided to share this live. So with that, to every one of our speakers, thank you for trusting out loud. Thank you for saying yes. Thank you for being obedient. Thank you for getting off the floor. We all got off the floor, right? When God said get up, we all got up in our own way. So thank you for getting up. And those of you who watching, whether it's online or right here in the Zoom room, thank you for being here for our very first experience episode of the Trust Out Loud series. And with that, every movement, whatever we're doing, right? Whether it's grief coaching, whether it's life coach, like whatever it is, it begins with your first yes. Okay. And today you got to witness 5 dynamic, powerful. I can see each one. I can see each one of you. Like I can see y'all can be on stages. Y'all can collaboration. What Jessica say? Collaboration is currency. I can see so much for each of y'all in your own way. But until next time, keep trusting out loud. We will see you in the next room. With that, do anybody want to share some feedback? I know all the speakers did already, but anybody who hasn't spoken yet, how has today been for you? Even if you have spoken today, how has today been for you overall? Anybody want to raise their hand and go first? We got Eric. I'm gonna call y'all out. We got Erica. We got Marshawn. We got Gabrielle. We got Teresa Black Jordan. We got Evelyn. And then everybody can come in if y'all want to. Jessica, you can go ahead and unmute.
First and foremost, I want to thank you for having the vision and following through on your vision. Because had you not and you sat on it, this would have never happened. And there's so much power. I'm just looking at these screens and looking at your faces, some from local Chicago, some from not, but alignment is true and real. So thank you for making it happen. The other thing I want to throw out there, because it's more of a reflection of myself. I'm still on my journey, with the business, but also in so many of these other pockets. We need to be reminded on a daily basis to allow ourselves the grace that we extend out to others is so important, because we, as you mentioned, whose voice are we listening to? It's so easy to get bogged down, fall off the path, if you will, but allow us the grace. We are today years old for the first time. You know what I mean? It's a new space, a new place. Give yourself grace. But again, just wanted to say thank you. So proud of each and every one of you, and I look forward to more of this.
Ah, awesome, awesome. Anyone want to share next? Nobody? Oh, you
I'll
muted,
jump
Erica. You
in.
trying to talk?
Should I raise the hand or what?
Who's
Who
talking?
was
I
it?
can't even. Who's
This is
talking?
Melisha. Just my
Oh,
closing feedback. I enjoyed the time. I enjoyed all of the speakers that shared today. I love when we can get to a space and be in a space where we can encourage and lift up one another. And, I just thought tonight or today was just a good time for just everyone to share. A lot of people was able to resonate with a few things and just give some words of encouragement. So I just recommend that everyone that's on the call or that's viewing to look into those chats, look at those encouraging words, go back to what the speaker is saying, take some of those tools and practice it. Because in order for you to get better at something, is to practice. That's in your spiritual realm or the physical realm. You have to apply those things. Don't let that word sit on bad soil. And all of the persons that was pushing that encouragement word and everything that went forth tonight, I hope all of those words was edified, the Lord be glorified, and the enemy be terrified. Amen.
yeah. Wait. Can we get Melisha as a speaker next time? Melisha, who want Melisha as a speaker next time? And I know it ain't just me. Melisha, can you come to the next self-trust room? I
I
mean,
got
can
you.
you? Cause
I got
oh my gosh, she
Yeah,
said
let's get
nobody
Felicia
walking
right
behind the
away.
hearse.
Right away.
Ooh, all right, we're gonna have Melisha next. Anybody want to get some feedback? This is incredible, you guys. And I'm sorry if you can hear my dog. Time and okay, let's see. Faye, what did you try? Amira?
Yeah, I just
Okay.
wanted, can you hear me at all?
Yes, we can hear you, ma'am.
Okay, I just wanted to say thanks again. This was so helpful to me. And if you all, when you have it again, I'm going to invite my sister, but we were talking about something and she was showing me a picture. She lost a lot of weight and she's wearing her natural hair. And she said she thought she looked hard. I said, you look beautiful. What are you talking about? I said, you've always been beautiful. She said, well, I don't
Yeah.
want my face. Now she's got, healthier body physique. But now she's talking about her face. I'm like, when have you looked bad? So I really want her to come here because those are voices in our heads. And
Yes.
Jayna, when you talked about the struggles that you had when I was dismissed from law school, I had just started taking sertraline because I had a brain injury and dealing with anxiety. And so I was laying down just sad. And I looked at the bottle of sertraline and something said to me, and I've never had those particular thoughts. Something said to me, you might as well just take that bottle of pills because you're nothing. You're not going to do anything. I immediately called my sister because it really scared me because it was so loud. Those are my huskies howling in the background. But I'm just wanting to say that part really helped me, Jayna, and I think there were a couple other ladies, but yeah, that's real. And Donterria said that is the enemy, and it was. Anyway, I have huskies. I'm so sorry.
so good. Faye, you want to share real quick?
Yeah, real quick. This is for this group, but I think every week when you did this, it would grow. Terry said, wounded healer. And I think that you, Chinitha, and Terry should start the Wounded Healer Society on Facebook. I think we can be the most powerful movement ever. I wrote it down. Terry, Wounded Healer Society. I think it would become a nonprofit. And I think I know you're doing a lot. Don't get me wrong. But I think that if you decided to do it, I can't
Wounded
imagine how
healer.
people could become.
That is powerful. That's great for branding. I don't have the capacity to do that right now, but Donterria, Donterria said that wounded healer?
Yes, Donterria said
That is
wounded healer,
1,000%
and that's
brandable.
all of us. Wounded
Yeah.
Healer Society. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Donterria, think about that because that's very brandable. You have the conviction. Yes, that is something that's very doable. I don't have the capacity to do it right now, but it still can be born. So thank you, Faye, being an entrepreneur with getting the vision. I love it. I love it. All right, Marshawn, you want to share your takeaway?
I knew you were gonna call me out. Good evening, afternoon, ladies. I'm just overwhelmed with joy to just be a part of this room because everyone that spoke was inspiring in a different way. I haven't like dealt with a lot that they've dealt with, but I can relate to a lot of the emotions and the feelings. And what my biggest takeaway was with the grief. And a lot of people think that grief only pertains to someone dying. And as she was talking, I was in Walmart and I had my headphones on. And I was like, yeah. So my best friend that I grew up with, I grieved that friendship because and I was trying to think, what was my first experience with grief? And I too was just let go of my job of 20 years. But I didn't grieve that when they let me go, but because I was already ready to go, but I do feel a type of way. So maybe it is grief that I'm not, upfront and dealing with, but just I appreciate everyone being transparent. And again, as someone else said earlier, like you never know who your story may impact. And a lot of people, if they know, if you share your truth, you're actually helping someone else. And I'm with Coach Chinitha. Like a lot of those taglines can really be brandable. And I can't steal them because they was y'all, but I be talking on live and I be using subjects to be talking about. So I just appreciate you, Coach Chinitha, for your yes and actually going forth and doing this and not sitting on it because it's very impactful and I can see this growing to you got people all over the world here, right? So I think
Girl.
it's a good thing and congratulations to you.
Oh, thank you so much, Marshawn. Thank you. Actually, when I had this idea, I was on a coaching call with Marshawn. We were talking about it. And it just was, yeah, it was born from that. But thank you for sharing that. Erica, you want to share a takeaway? I see you on the screen, girl. I see you looking right at me. I can't unsee you. You muted though. Let's see. Okay, I click ask to unmute.
Okay.
We can hear you.
I guess my biggest challenge is what I got from it is I do need to learn how to stop blaming myself for where I am in life right now. Because my idea started a young childhood. It wasn't even I was touched or anything like that. It was just like when the devil attacked me at a young age, he just kept me done it. And I stayed there and I didn't grow from it. And so now I have been asking God for like a place where I can feel safe enough to grow. Because like now I just started this journey about 2 years ago that I woke up one day and said, no, I'm not supposed to be like this. There is more to life and I can do it regardless of what I did not receive or was groomed to receive. So I'm on my own grooming life journey and I'm just trying to I need to get with women that I can grow with, I think. I'm not this person that's a go-getter and can do it on her own. I'm just not that person because I'm 56 and I'm still stunted. So right now my journey is forgiving myself and just learning to be the best person I could be to remember who God told me I was.
Mm.
Because through all the things that I've been told, I've taken that on, and I don't know what God had destined for me. So I just want to remember who I was supposed to be when God put me on this earth.
Oh, Erica, thank you for sharing that. And as you was talking, I was just thinking, you're exactly where you're supposed to be. You know, you think your growth is stunted and all, but you're exactly you're supposed to be right now in this moment. So thank you for sharing that. You guys, it has been 2.5 hours almost, and this wraps up Trust Out Loud, the first episode. And if you again got any takeaways, share it online. I will reach out to the speakers at the, probably tomorrow, not today. But I'm gonna reach out to each one of y'all. And there's something here. There's something here. But with that, thank you all for being here. And may y'all be blessed as y'all go out into the world today. And remember to trust yourself and just be that light for somebody else. I had no idea y'all had that in y'all. I mean, I'm like, what? Where they been at my whole life? All right. Thank you to Faye, Jayna, Donterria, Jessica. Who else was missing? Who else we missing? Ooh, wait. Who am I missing? Faye, Jayna.
Sharon.
Oh, Sharon job. Okay, yeah. Sharon, Jayna, Donterria, Faye, and Jessica. Thank you all so much for being here. And I look forward to what Jessica say, collaboration is currency, girl. Brand that today, Jessica. Some kind of way to brand that. And I will see y'all in the next episode. Bye, everyone.